a lot of reporting today that the New York DA, who's been investigating Donald Trump on a host of issues, trying to find some way to criminally charge Donald Trump and basically perp walk Donald Trump. And so this current grand jury has been reported to invited President Trump to come testify. Usually that is one of the final moves made by a district attorney to someone who is likely going to face indictment, is that they will get an opportunity to address the grand jury. It's different than like addressing the jury, but in this one sense, in a trial, but in another sense, it's you don't have to do this. It's just an opportunity given, and then very soon after, you could see an indictment.
You can have answers happen.
Yeah, and so I think we have to be very vigilant here, watch this very closely as this witch hunt continues. It's all based in New York City, so it's a New York City grand jury with a New York DA who is very liberal, and I think these DAs know on the left, Logan, whichever, if any of them got an indictment, they would become, not even a conviction, an indictment, they would become heroes immediately of the left.
Absolutely.
Everybody would stop. Hey, who cares about the fact that you can't go into a grocery store in New York because everybody's robbing it, or you have to shut the store down, or
they'll get a book deal and they'll get a made for TV
which is
movie.
why these DAs don't focus on crime. They focus instead on high profile news stories.
You're talking about a criminal trial that would likely go into what right now we believe the Republican debates start in August.
Oh yeah, this would. I don't even know if it would start.
Right. This is, like you said, a moment to potentially try to derail whatever momentum could be happening, because a lot of resources have to be moved around.
Yeah, that's
not
right.
just financials, time. When you start talking about these kind of cases,
this witch hunt has not stopped since the man took the oath of office. It actually started a little bit before that. Took the oath of office, left office, and continues to this day. And it is my, I guess, promise to you. The goal is not necessarily to get him convicted, because that's even more difficult. They want him arrested, Logan. They want
the visual.
If they can get that visual, which I don't know that the Secret Service would allow, but if they could, or if they could just say it on TV that he's been arrested and booked, I mean, obviously he'd be released immediately on something like this, and we're not 100% that this is happening, but I do think if you're a Trump supporter, you should be preparing, because there's movement happening in New York. Now, it also brings up that interesting issue with Florida, because Florida doesn't necessarily have a agreement to force you
to go. If you will.
Yeah, I mean, it's domestic extradition,
yeah.
but for certain offenses, I don't know if this one reaches that one yet, because we don't know what the actual charges are here. We know the dispute is over an NDA, but my Lord, if you're someone like Donald Trump, you got a lot of NDAs out there.
The whole world kind of runs on NDAs, if we're all being honest.
And many of them do get thrown out of courts as being overbroad.
Yeah.
It's usually specific parts. Not like the whole NDA goes. It's this provision in the NDA is to the
person writing it is going to try to be always as protective as possible.
Right. And then if it does get challenged in court and you lose a little bit here and there, you still actually kind of got what you wanted. And so that's the usual NDA challenge. It's someone says, this is restricting my ability to do my work too much, or find another job, or there are some exceptions to be able to speak out on NDAs as well.
Not necessarily trade secrets.
Right. And I think what you have to see here, and the dream of the left has been to get him arrested. I don't even think they care about the conviction so much. They want that imagery.
The imagery is bad, and then the timing, I think, and do it at the proper time. They do it at the proper time when you're heading into now having an earlier debate season than maybe ever before, or right around then in August of this year. We're talking about, 6 months from now?
It's an interesting situation if an indictment actually comes out. I think it's so absurd that this is continuing on to try and take down a political figure, a declared candidate for president of the United States, a former president of the United States, over issues that are 10 and 12 and 15 years old, that we all know about, that have been discussed. I mean, this one has been discussed
ad nauseum, forever.
Ad nauseum. Everybody knows the names here, but it's really not about that. It's about what else can we find? What kernel of some kind of something could we try to convince a grand jury that's criminal, and then we can prosecute Donald Trump and put him on trial. And I think that is, again, a very it's when we talk about the weaponization of law enforcement, this is yet another example of weaponizing law enforcement against leading politicians, which about half the country did support, and a good chunk of the country still supports.